a can cooler. This thing's like neoprene, polyprene, I don't know. But the inside has it's skin diving material, neoprene, I believe. It's looks like it's for like the Floridas, maybe a 5mm. I think we used 7mm in our wetsuits in down around the Catalina Islands and Monterey Bay and such, Channel Islands, because the water's like 58 degrees. It's the Pacific, it's colder. But it'll do, I suppose, if it can take the Florida heat. And I know people see this and I think his name isn't Judas, it's Richard. Look, he's even got it on his can cooler. I said, no, I was in Tequamanon Falls and with the fam, and I was thinking about buying a new Tequamanon Falls can cooler. I got one for her. It fits her Trulies and her White Claws quite well, her seltzers. I didn't want one for myself that said that. I didn't see any that I wanted. And then all alone on a shelf away from all the other can coolers, which were just the inside of this. They're like skin diving or scuba diving wetsuit material, neoprene. This was all by itself on a shelf that was completely empty except this, and it was sitting there and it was looking at me, and I said, what the hell? And you know, Richard, it's so close to Archer. Well, you know, like my brother, my second brother, he and his friends, they would call me Archibald, and you know, that's not my name. And when they found out that I didn't mind them calling me Archibald, it's Archer. That's my middle name, the one most people go by. But then he started calling me Archie, and I think it was because I was like the comic book kid. I was just like, and I had divots in the side of my head. Head injuries are very high on my birth chart. But they'd call me that, and I just didn't care, so they quit. But it's so close to Richard, Archer, Richie, Archie, Richard, Archibald, and I don't care about any of them. I've taken them to be, you know, the pseudonyms, basically. If I'm trying to sign something on paper and I say Archibald for my middle name instead of Archer, I could probably get in trouble, but, you know, people that are different know me in different ways. So, and it turns out it's not even just a name. It was the only one that had that name on it. It looked like it was a bunch of them up there and everybody sold out, but Archibald. And I looked, and it's got 100% authentic, it says right there. I know I've done this video, but it applies. And then there's the crown, which actually it would be King Richard, but you hear people called Sir Richard all the time. So, but it's named after a monarch. Gosh, if only we could have a king in this country, wouldn't everything be so much better? Have good can coolers, and it says top quality drink holder. But the best part, since you can't be sure what I was talking about there, if you need a second idea going on, you can make up your own mind for sure. Look, it's like little tires, little tires, little tires. And I'm like, I am drinking out of the Michelin Man's corpse, but it's not just the Michelin Man, it's the black Michelin Man. And I'm like, what? Now that I think of it, why would they have had the Michelin Man be a pile of tires, which some of you might not have made the connection. He's a pile of tires. And he's white. The most they've ever had is white walls, whatever it is. Maybe they had white tires. But I just think they decided that a black Michelin Man wouldn't be so marketable. as a white one, like back in the 50s. You think they're going to trust this sort of thing? Times are different, you would think. But I just got started because I opened a beer to talk to you about this. I was watching one of my videos, I was going to say just now, but it's been probably 10 minutes since then. And, but I watch them, you know, I did a video about a short, there's more to be talked about. I enjoy watching them because I think the guy is funny. You know, if you had a channel of your own, you wouldn't be in the wrong to watch it incessantly, because the truth is, this is this person's sense of humor. It's coming directly, if you're true to yourself, it's coming directly from you. And then you get to watch you and you go, holy fuck, that's weird. And sometimes, like, there will be something move as I'm watching one of my other ones, but it's moving in real life, and they're in connection and they move, and it kind of creeps you out, it pulls you out a little bit. And the thing is, during watching this video, I could hear an airplane going over. You'll hear the airplanes, and the airplane's going, and I'm sitting here watching me looking like this to you, and I hear another, like an airplane in reality, it's going, it's coming across this way. And I'm watching and I'm gauging the direction they would be going by the sound of the video and the Doppler effect. You know, as it gets closer, it gets faster, so you can tell. And as it gets further away, it gets slower, because the speed of sound is not the same as the speed of light. The speed of sound starts off strong and it peters out a lot quicker than light would. And so as it's petering out, the sound behind it, the vibrations bouncing off it that are coming, they're pushing that stuff that's slowing down in front of them, and there's a harmonious thing goes on, and it makes it, you know, it's getting higher pitched as it gets closer, and then it goes by, and so that happens. It's Doppler effect. But so the planes are going, and you know, there's also something about speaking in a deeper voice. If you're talking to a grandparent that's becoming hard of hearing, like me, from too many Lemmy concerts, too many Motorhead concerts, everything louder than everybody else, and it's just not the same with earplugs and your ears ring for days. That's the speed of Lemmy fucking shooting into them in the future from the past. But they lose the higher pitches in their hearing first, in the cochlea, the damn little filaments and shit that picks up sound and bounds and goes, and those get fried first by large decibels and age, and so the lower sounds usually stick through pretty well if you talk slower, a little bit slower and deeper. It hits them at a different rate, and they can hear you better. You don't have to, because he thinks he knows ya. You don't have to yell like that. Slow and deep. And you will find that they will probably make them very happy to not have to fucking struggle with these low-talking motherfuckers. So there's an airplane coming from that way in the video that I'm looking at. This is the same thing, exactly where I'm at. And then one in reality coming, and I'm looking, I'm going, holy fuck, what if they collide? And it was a real thought. And then I went, it was a mind-blowing experience. I stepped into a place between fiction and reality, and that fiction was once a reality makes it all the more treacherous. This is why you do not want to approach yourself if you ever see yourself walking down the road while you're sitting on a bench smoking a cigarette next to a Mexican nurse at the Watsonville Secretary of State office waiting for Pure Legend to get his shit done. You just freaks you out. You stay away from it. And so the thing is, these planes almost crashed, and it took me to, actually I was flying back to San Jose out of Michigan to pick up some of my things, move some of my things. And as I was setting up the tickets ahead of time, the first one that came up on the travel stuff, whatever it is, Velocity or something, was Frontier Airlines. And I missed that flight. I waited too long to purchase the ticket, so it wasn't available anymore. And I don't know anything about Frontier Airlines. It was new to me. It was the first time I'd ever heard of it in 2007 when I was there looking to find. And so I ended up going on another general airline, one of the main ones. And on the way, there was a little kid sitting right in front of me, about a 10-year-old. And he's looking out the window, and I'm by the window myself. I like to be in the aisle. I like to be able to stretch my legs, lay my arms over the rest. We're both kind of looking out the window, and he looked back at me, and I said, what? And I looked out, and there's an airplane. We're however many 30,000 feet in the air, miles or whatever it is, and we're just fucking shooting through the sky towards California, and there's an airplane coming from this direction. It's like, it's coming. And we're coming up on it. I looked at him, he looked at me, and we looked again, and that thing got so close, we could read the big bold letters of Frontier on the side. And we were the only people out. I don't think the pilots even saw it. We were probably the only people, 2 people in the plane that saw this thing, and we were next to each other, and it went out, and we went, oh. And I'm thinking, I don't think that air traffic control has people flying this close to each other. Another very close, that's what they call a near miss. Nearly didn't miss us. Close enough. And I was like, that's the plane I was supposed to be on. I altered reality. They had to fucking wait another day to find somebody else to fucking buy the ticket because they needed to fill a certain amount of seats, I'm guessing. It tweaked the way, they didn't wait a day on takeoff. It just tweaked the way these things work. And this kid and I sat there like we were in the Langoliers, a Stephen King novel, watching just some other reality happening. And so, yeah. Don't call me crazy for thinking the plane flying overhead that you hear in the video going a direction is not going to get hit by the real one. It's just that close. Nearly. I have to add, it might be odd to think that my brother and his second brother and his friends would make fun of my Archer middle name, but they never made fun of my first name, Judas. They didn't call me Judy. They didn't even call me Judah, trying to make some sort of racial slur that doesn't apply. And, yeah, I think that the history of Judas covered my back with these people because they don't want to make fun of me that way because they fear even calling his name lest he show up.